In South Africa's Kruger National Park, a magnificent male lion, known as the king of the savannah, rules over the vast plains. His radiant mane and commanding stride strike fear into the hearts of all other animals. Within his territory, no predator dares to question his supreme dominance. Travelers from every corner of the globe journey to Kruger, hoping to catch a glimpse of this legendary lion at least once in their lives. The story unfolds on a scorching afternoon as a herd of antelopes grazed peacefully near a lake. From a distance, the mighty lion watched them intently, his piercing eyes cold and calculating. He singled out a strong, but slightly slower alpha male antelope, hindered by an old injury, as his target. When the perfect moment arrived, the lion sprang forward with astonishing speed. Closing the distance in powerful, graceful leaps, panic swept through the herd. Some antelopes fled toward the water, diving into the lake in a desperate attempt to escape. The wounded leader, though a poor swimmer, also plunged into the water, driven by fear. Caught in the frenzy of the hunt, the lion leapt in right after it, determined not to lose his prized prey. But the lake was far deeper than he had expected. The moment his body hit the water, the lion realized he had entered a perilous situation. The icy water, combined with a strong undercurrent, quickly drained his strength. While the antelope, despite its poor swimming skills, managed to fight toward shallower waters, the lion struggled to stay afloat. He tried to rise to the surface, but the swirling current pulled him under. The mighty roar of the king was lost beneath the churning water. Within seconds, the powerful beast grew weak and slipped into unconsciousness. His glorious mane fell limp, and his body sank deeper into the lake. At that very moment, a ranger named Sifo was patrolling nearby. Driving a specialized vehicle, his sharp eyes scanned the savannah for anything unusual. He noticed the commotion near the lake and immediately sensed that something wasn't right. At first, he assumed it was a typical hunting scene, but then he realized the lion had not resurfaced. Without a second thought, Sifo slammed the brakes and ran straight toward the lake, completely ignoring any danger to himself. Squinting against the glare, he searched the water and spotted a faint glimmer of orange gold beneath the surface, the lion's mane. Without hesitation, he tore off his jacket and dove into the murky water. The lake was deep, the water muddy and slick, making every movement a struggle. After several exhausting dives, Sifo finally managed to grab hold of the lion's front leg. Mustering every ounce of his strength, he began pulling the massive creature toward the shallow waters. As he neared the shore, the true weight of the unconscious beast became almost unbearable. The lion lay motionless, its eyes shut tight, its breathing seemingly stopped. People often say that facing a lion is the ultimate danger. But at that moment, the greatest fear was watching the king of the savannah slip away forever. Sifo gently laid the lion on its side along the muddy bank, his heart pounding wildly with anxiety. Though trained in wildlife first aid, this was the first time he had to apply it on a creature of such size and majesty. Without wasting a moment, he began chest compressions, pressing firmly to try and force air back into the lion's lungs. A fragile hope burned within him. Perhaps, if he followed his training exactly, the lion might yet return to life. He worked steadily and relentlessly, sweat pouring from his forehead onto the lion's drenched mane. Minutes dragged by with no sign of life. Clenching his jaw, Sifo kept going, counting each compression carefully, refusing to give in to despair. In a final, desperate attempt, he even tried mouth-to-mouth resuscitation, cautiously avoiding the lion's deadly fangs. Then, suddenly, a faint tremor ran through the lion's body. Its muscles quivered weakly, and Sifo immediately pressed his ear to the lion's muzzle. A soft, shallow breath escaped. Its heart had started beating again. Overwhelmed with relief, Sifo grabbed his radio and called for backup, his eyes never leaving the struggling lion. Though the lion was now breathing heavily, there was life in its powerful chest once more. Drawing on his experience, Sifo retrieved a syringe filled with a revival drug, preparing to give the lion every chance to survive. Sifo carefully injected the revival medication into the lion's muscle, making sure to minimize any discomfort. Then he stepped back slightly, prepared for the possibility that the lion might awaken in a panic. For a brief moment, time itself seemed to pause. On the shore of the lake, man and beast lay side by side, both fighting for breath, caught between life and death. Sifo pressed his hand against his chest, feeling his heart thundering beneath his ribs, still shaken by the ordeal. At last, the lion blinked, its eyes flickering open, surveying the world through a dazed and clouded gaze. Those once fierce, golden eyes now appeared weary, yet a faint spark of life still glimmered within them. The lion made a feeble attempt to raise its head, but, too weak, let it fall back down again. Saifo exhaled deeply, relieved that the lion had survived, though he knew it would take time to fully recover. He remained nearby, closely monitoring the animal's breathing and heartbeat, ready to act again if needed. His radio continued to crackle, with incoming messages from concerned colleagues. But Saifo calmly reassured them that the situation was under control. The sun dipped lower toward the horizon, bathing the savannah in a golden light that danced across the lion's damp fur. Saifo took out a small water bottle and gently sprinkled a few drops onto the lion's face, hoping to help revive it further. The lion stirred, attempting to stretch, shivering faintly in reaction to the cool water. Saifo understood it needed time and space to regain its strength without fear. Quietly, he backed away toward his vehicle, turning on the hazard lights to alert any passing patrols. From a distance, he watched as the lion slowly began to move. It shook its heavy head, as though trying to clear the fog from its mind. Its large ears perked up, and its gaze locked onto the vehicle where Saifo stood. Remaining calm and perfectly still, Saifo avoided making any sudden movements that might startle the great predator. The lion let out a soft, low roar, a far cry from its usual powerful voice, but still a sign of its enduring spirit. Gently, Saifo stepped closer and extended his hand, allowing the lion to catch his scent. The lion did not lash out, nor did it flee. It simply let out a faint, almost hesitant growl, more cautious than aggressive. Saifo smiled quietly, realizing the lion was beginning to understand that he meant no harm. After a while, the lion struggled to rise, its legs trembling with the effort. It managed a few staggering steps before collapsing once more, exhausted but alive. Saifo gently supported the lion's head, but remained ready to pull his hand back at the first sign of aggression. He spoke softly and calmly, his voice low and soothing, as though the great beast could somehow understand his words. "Calm down, my friend. I'm here to help you," he whispered, fully aware that the lion couldn't comprehend his language, but hoping his tone would bring comfort. The lion blinked slowly, and its breathing settled into a more regular rhythm. Saifo immediately checked its body for injuries. Thankfully, apart from complete exhaustion, there were no serious wounds. Returning to his vehicle, he retrieved a large cloth and gently draped it over the lion's body to keep it warm through the night. Determined not to leave it alone, Saifo stayed by the lion's side, waiting patiently until it was strong enough to move on its own. Night descended over the savannah, and under the pale glow of the moon, two unlikely companions shared a silent bond of kindness. At dawn, the lion stirred and rose to its feet, looking far stronger than the day before. It began to circle slowly around the patrol vehicle, sniffing the crisp morning air. Then, lifting its head proudly, it let out a powerful roar, its voice strong once again, as if declaring its return to glory. Saifo smiled, relieved to see that the lion had passed a critical point of its recovery. Still cautious, he radioed the support team to escort the lion safely back to its territory. Before they arrived, the lion accepted a small offering of dried meat Saifo had prepared. It gazed at him with a curious, almost knowing expression, part proud, part grateful. When the rescue team showed up, they were astonished to see how calm and gentle the lion behaved around Saifo. Though some of the rangers remained on guard, Saifo reassured them with a simple gesture that all was well. After a final check, they agreed it was best to release the lion back into its familiar territory to avoid any further stress. And from that day forward, whenever Saifo set out on patrol across the vast savannah of Kruger National Park, the majestic lion would often appear nearby, following at a respectful distance, as if silently watching over him. Dear friend, thank you for taking the time to experience this story. Don't forget to like and subscribe to support our channel.